Howdy guys, Dad on Two Wheels here. Today's episode is going to be about the Shinko 804 and 805 Adventure tire. Alright, so these tires, let's talk about them. I've had about 3 or 4 pairs on the motorcycle as we speak. Or so far. I don't have them on there now. These tires in general are a good overall motorcycle tire. If you have one set of rims and you want to do everything from road to some pretty tough off-road, these are probably tires for you. There's a couple other ones out there that may compete though. So let's talk about these things. I've had these tires last anywhere from 9,800 miles for one set without changing them, all the way down to about 3,800 miles. It all depends on how you ride it. Overall, I see these tires lasting about 5,000 to 7,000 miles for most average riders. So let's look at them a little closer. Let's look at this front one. So this front tire right here, let's get a closer view. This front tire has a pretty symmetrical tread. It does a decent bit of good feedback on the road. It does slip a little bit when you start getting into some sand and things, but overall inspires a lot more confidence than just the general dual sport tires. I believe these are considered a 50-50 tire with the type of grip that they have. So these do a pretty darn good, decent job of doing everything. They're good on the highway. In general, they ride really well on the highway. They are a little rough at lower speeds. They kind of act like a knobby a little bit, but at higher speeds, they're pretty smooth. You can travel to the edges with them on the road. All right, guys, closer inspection of the front tire and rear tire here. So both of them have a pretty symmetrical pattern. On the road, they handle quite all right. I don't feel a lot of tar snake following or road following where you get like a line on the road and the tire follows that. I don't feel a whole lot of that. Most of the time when you feel that is because you have like a solid strip on the tire, but these do quite well with most roads. I'd say in general they have better grip than the Dunlop TrailMax that comes OEM with the Africa Twin. One thing to note is you really need to adjust your pressures to the type of riding you do. These tires will cut quite a bit when it comes to road use. So if you can see these cupping, hopefully it's showing up on the film. Let's see, right here, there's some cupping right here, and so there's some cupping right here. Let's see if I can find another one or a different angle. So right there's some cupping as it comes down, and this is usually due to braking. So I get less cupping. You can get worse cupping than that. So you can get pretty significant cupping. You could mitigate that by getting appropriate pressures. I found that 33 to 34 psi front and 36 to 38 psi rear really helps with that. It gives pretty good traction on the road until you get over to about right here where it starts getting into this grip. You could feel it start slipping at this point in time when you get this far over. These tires, again, they're pretty good when it comes to dry weather. They have a little bit more grip than I say that the Dunlop TrailMax did, which came OEM. But when you start really leaning it over, you really start feeling the edge of these tires, and you really start feeling less feedback and more slippage. Both front and rear, mainly rear. The tires do quite well off-road in general, so gravel roads, very light sand, some hardened terrain like a single trail, stuff like that. They do quite well unless you get into some mud. Even though these are kind of paddle shaped and they are supposed to be able to paddle through sand and stuff like that, I've had other tires do a lot better than these in sand and mud. But of course we're on large adventure bikes, and so you're not going to really expect that a whole lot in general. They do pretty much everything very decently, but they do nothing great. They're a decent off-road capability. They're decent on-road capability. They do live a long life. So like I said, I think between 5,000 and 7,000 miles, unless you really push it, you'll get less. Or if you're a little bit more mature of a rider with less acceleration, you can get these things out to, 9,800 miles, 10,000 miles. So as you can see, these actually have about 3,800 miles on it. And here's the wear bar. I don't know if you can see that or not. The wear bar is right here, and it's actually, there's still a significant amount of tread. I don't know if I would trust it necessarily that far out, but as the tread wear goes, you can see here that we still have a decent amount of tread left compared to where the wear bar is. So there's a little bit of lip still. I don't really want to push it that much more for these things at this kind of tire. So in general, these tires were pretty good. If you have one set of rims for your motorcycle that you have to do everything with, and you're planning on doing some pretty significant off-road riding, then these may be the tires for you. These tires in general probably serve one really good purpose. If you're planning on taking your Africa Twin or adventure touring motorcycle both on the road and long distance road riding and some pretty significant off-road riding, these tires may be for you. Additionally, it depends on price. These tires are actually super economically inexpensive. In general, I can get a full set of tires for between $209 at the cheapest to about $250. Just wait around for the deals. You can get them pretty good. They're a Korean-made tire. They're considered 50-50 tires. Like I said, they do everything really good or decent, but they don't do anything awesome. These tires, again, will get you anywhere. I have heard of other people complaining on GS like 1150s and GS 1200s where the tread starts bulging out right here. I believe these are bias ply. The tire starts separating. I've never had that problem. I've ridden these several thousand miles down the road in one or two sittings, and during hot summers here in the South, and had no problems with them whatsoever. The only thing that I do have is that when you get a certain lean angle here, you start losing your confidence. You feel a little bit more slippage, and you don't necessarily want to take it all the way to the edge. I have on a very rare occasion here and there. See, I've buzzed them off, but not very often. The other thing is they do cut. They do cut significantly depending on your pressures that you're running. So if you're running lower pressures because you're off-road and you got to do another 500 miles on-road, I'd probably consider airing them back up, because you'll get some pretty significant cupping, especially on the braking aspect of it. But these tires, they have a really stiff sidewall, so they are going to be difficult to put on and take off. Additionally, when you deflate them for some off-road purposes, I mean, they're really going to hold their same shape. They're not going to get a whole lot more grippy. In general, like I said, very good, economical, long-lasting tire, and did me well for all those years. You do have to worry about the water. Just pretend it's a knobby, because it is for the most part in the rain, and you'll be fine. There you go, guys. There's some other tires out there that I'll be doing reviews on. There's other ones that are a lot smoother on the road and still do a decent job off-road. Stay tuned for more.